I want to get to here, but how do I get there from my blank canvas that looks like this? Right, let's get that bald line in. This is the first marker. I put in the bald line, that's my guide for the whole haircut. And you'll notice that I go from well below the temple all the way back to the point at the back of the nape. So I put that in and just clear all the hair from that area. Just clean that all up and then get your foil shaver and clean it up again. Just get all the stubble off. Then go back to your finest blade, your Andis T outliner, and make that line slightly higher and neater. With that step complete, just do the same again, go slightly higher with your fading blade. The next step in the process, move that lever arm down so the blade is open and you're cutting 1.5mm longer. Right, throw the number 1 guard on, that'll make it 3mm and that'll make it slightly longer again. Let's move that guideline up. You'll notice that I'm almost hitting the ridge on the parietal bone. That's the part at the side of the head that sticks out the most, but I'm not going beyond that quite yet. Let's go back a little step now, put the 1.5mm guard on, that's the half guard, and just clean up below your number 1 to try and knock out any lines that might be beginning to appear. Brush up on your work. Cool. I'm going to use these grippers now because I'm getting into the long hair at the top. I'm just going to shift that out of the way. By the way, any tools that I'm using in this video, I'll leave a link in the description, some Amazon affiliate links down below, so you can go and have a look at them if you want. The hair is gripped up and I'm going back with my number 1 guard. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm not rounding over that parietal ridge that I was talking about before. What I'm doing is I'm going up, and as if I'm sort of shooting for the ceiling, I just want to go straight up with the clipper. And you'll see sometimes what I do is I sort of scrub with the clipper. It's like scrubbing up and down. And what I'm trying to do there is I'm trying to catch every hair with the guard, because the guard doesn't pick up every hair all the time. Sometimes it misses them. So if you scrub over it, sometimes it's like it kind of like becomes clearer as you're working. Once you've done that, just repeat the process on the other side until you get something that looks like this. And then we're on to the back. Now, the back we formed into like a little V. So I'm just going to put a straight line across there and clean that up and foil shave it, just like we did with our other bald lines before. But I like doing it this way, you get a nice symmetry. I'm going to go through the different clipper lengths that I did on the side, but the key thing here is the occipital bone, which is that bone that protrudes at the back of the head. I don't really want to be fading beyond that, so what I want to do is do as much of my fade as I lead into that as possible, and then I can take away the bulk that's just sitting above it. So in with my T outliner and then in with my 0 like I did on the sides. What I'll do once I've done that is I'll just extend it to a half and I'll start working up with the half. The half, by the way, is that lever down on your clipper. Or just the normal blade, lever down. That adds 1.5mm. Okay, and you can see that as I hit that occipital bone, I'm lifting up for the sky, you know, I'm going straight up towards the ceiling with the clipper. I don't want to round over and go beyond that, or it's going to tighten up the whole haircut as I get to the top, and I might end up having to cut the crown much shorter. I don't want to be doing that. And you can see as I work my way up that I am not obliterating that longer hair that's sitting higher. Drop back down to that half guard and clean up your work down below. Don't be afraid to mess around with your half guard for a very long time. Just use the corner of it, scrub little areas if they look dark. Brush your work, try and keep the work area clean, and that'll get any debris out of the way so you can really see what you're looking at. Final step for me on a fade is to stroke down the way on the foil shaver around where my foil line was. Now what that does is it actually softens the line around the foil area. It's a good way to make it really blurry. On top, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a guide line. Now, if I cut what you would call a profile section, that goes from the crown all the way to the fringe at the front, and I'm going to lift it up so that it's kind of square, you know, like I'm not going to follow the curvature of the head with my fingers. I'm just lifting it quite square, so by the time I get to the front there's not going to be much to cut off, as you can see here. Now, once I've got that complete, when I start taking my sections across the head, as I work my way through it, I can see the short hair from my profile section as I lift my sections up. Now you can see here what I do is I section this off and I comb, well, split the hair if you want it into a parting. This is going to make it much faster and easier for me to pick up the hair. So you can see there, cut the hair, comb flip the hair, just comb flip it. I don't need to do anything crazy and take like some elaborate section. I've got it sectioned, I've got it parted, so it's much easier for me to collect. And as I work my way through, I see that short hair in my section when I went from the crown to the fringe, the stuff that I cut before. So I just work to that. Every section that I pick up, I just cut to that length, and that keeps me right all the way at the front. By the way, when you're cutting hair, don't forget to chat to your client. They're the most important person in the shop. Have a laugh with them, relax. Do you know, one thing that I missed when we were in lockdown was I forgot how much I love chatting to my customers. I love chatting to the customers. You get so many different people, so have a laugh, chat to them, and you'll relax with your hair cutting as well, and they're relaxed, and just enjoy coming to your shop then, you know. Right, so get all that out of the way. Now I'm going to work from the front and basically cut to the same length that I cut in the middle. I can see a little bit of it at the end of my finger, so I'll just cut to that length and work my way to the back. This isn't a haircut where I'm taking huge amounts of hair off. Okay, and then same on the other side, comb all the hair over, and I can work from the back and comb flip the hair up. I don't need to do anything wild when I take my sections. You know, it doesn't have to be this like complicated scientific procedure. You know, if you comb all the hair to the side, lift it up straight and cut towards the middle, the same length you've got at the middle there. As you get to the front, just pull it back a little bit. Now, comb all that down. What we need to do is we need to join this into the short hair at the side. A little process for doing that. Pick it up and then angle your hand out the way so that you're pulling the hair directly out from the head. So it's like almost like you're trying to carry on that vertical section towards the ceiling. Okay, we don't want it rounded, we want it square. Square but blended in, obviously. This is what we call cutting off the corners, but it's still going to be square. Now that's confusing. Okay, now I'm just going in with sliding my scissor in. I want to just what you call cross-check that, just make sure there's no little bits sticking out, and that's fine. Now, what you'll notice here though is see if I pull that hair forward, it sits fine, but if I pull it down straight, I've got this weight here, but I'm going to leave it because look what happens when I comb it forward, it sits fine. Now it's going to style that way, so there's no point in messing about with that. Let's just keep that the way it is, okay? Repeat the process, work your way around towards the back, and just like you did on the sides. So we're, you know, pulling out, picking up at the crown and pulling it out straight. Look how straight my fingers are. They're not rounding over the head, they're going up the way. Then we'll go just fine tune that, make sure there's no little hair sticking out. Okay, so repeat on both sides. Now with the fringe, I'm going to pull it down on my comb and just use my comb. Look how relaxed the fringe is, okay? Because he has a curly fringe, I don't want to pull that down on my fingers and cut it. It's going to spring up all over the place. Heaps of work to do edging this up and beard and everything, but let's dry it off with some texturizer. Hair bond texturizer. I love hair bond texturizer. It smells amazing. It looks good. It's a really good product, and again, I'll leave a link down below for that. Right, the beard. So I'm going in with a half, and what I want to do is I want to fade the beard from the back of the chin forwards. So reduce it down to a half guard, and then use a number 1 to kind of fade in what you've just done there. Once I've done that, I'll just go in with my comb and clipper over comb that area so that it's, I just want to make sure that there's no kind of long hairs or anything like that sticking out. He doesn't have a very dense beard, this guy, but I'm going to show you a cool trick at the end to make it dense. There we go. Let's just take the very ends off the bottom, comb the mustache down. Now trim the mustache at the very point where the lip and the skin meet, so that where the color of the lip and the skin changes, that's bang on where you want to be with your clipper when you're trimming a mustache. I'm just working my way around here now. Using my open razor, I'm going to make like a curve all the way around down towards the cheek. But there's some really important finishing touches here coming up. So get that all straightened up with a razor. Make sure you've got all the fluff off of the cheek. Okay, and then just repeat on the other side, do the same thing. Be sure to use your thumb to stretch the skin away from the blade. My client is going out from here to meet some friends, so around the temple area, I'm going to enhance this with some hair fibers. It's going to look real crispy, this. It doesn't always go on just perfect, so just grab your razor again and just edge up again. I always try to make a right angle and then a curve. So the angle is 90 degrees on the temple and then curve away from the 90-degree angle. We've still got the beard to do. I'm going to use my Graph Etch beard pencil to really fill this in now. So these are such cool things, especially if you have a client with a sparse beard or you yourself have a sparse beard. So all you do is you just draw a line along sort of like where you've edged up to, or you can put it into like kind of patchy areas. Grab a boar bristle brush or like just a stiff brush with lots of bristles and just kind of smudge it in. You just drag the brush over and over until it eventually just kind of like blends in. It can actually look it looks so cool. It really adds something to your cut. Like I said, my client's meeting up with friends after this, so I wanted it to look perfect for him. Like real sharp. Tell me what you think. What do you think of this? It looks pretty sharp. I'm happy with it and he was happy with it. Tell me what you think below. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to learn more from me, I do teach barbering on Udemy and I'll put a link down below for that. Anything else today, links that I can include, I'll put them down below, but ask me any questions at all, anything that you want to know about. Did you like the haircut? Did you not like the haircut? If you didn't like it, even tell me. If you didn't like any of the processes or if you think that I could have improved, I always want to hear from you as well, you know, because I know there's some barbers watching this. So hit me back, tell me what you think. Until next time, barber, thank you so much for watching. Good luck with your fades and your beards, and I'll see you in my next video.